My first guest, who is known as pop culture's answer to Greta Garbo. Well, he's come to the wrong place to be alone. Ladies and gentlemen, Boy George. George, you're very welcome. You're not going to believe this, but I was going to wear that, you know.
Tough.
It's very smart indeed. Can you... do you want to discuss it?
Well, it's a homemade Boy George jacket, if you like. I just like to do things that kids can copy, you know. When we first started Culture Club, you know, I don't know if you ever saw, there were a lot of kids walking around with my hat and, you know, the same kind of hair. Because, you know, it's nice to be able to give kids something they can copy without costing them a fortune and, you know.
Will this cost anything? There are a lot of hotel
No,
fees
actually,
there.
safety pins, actually, you never see advertisements for safety pins, do you? Because, you know, everybody has to use them. So they're one of the most practical things you could possibly wear. And it looks very, you know, doesn't it?
I'm sure it does. Now, you're back in the charts after a year. Now, why did you take time off?
I think it becomes like a marathon. People get bored with you. If you notice now at the moment, everybody's picking on Madonna. I mean, she probably hasn't done a thing wrong. You know, she probably just hasn't said anything, but everyone's moaning. Because people just get bored of you. You're in the papers every day. You know, you're photographed coming off the plane, you know, going to the toilet, you know, everything. It just becomes boring, so you have to take a break, really.
But the pressure was also on you, as well as the...
Yeah, also, I think, you know, what happens is that you can ride the crest of a wave and your music can suffer. The quality of your music can suffer because you keep churning out records. So it's good to take a little break and concentrate, and also decide whether you want to continue. You know, I mean, after what I went through, I had to decide whether I wanted to go and hibernate for the rest of eternity. You know, sort of never do it again. But I obviously love what I'm doing, so here I am.
Did you miss it for that year?
I got so bored. You don't know what it's like for somebody like me to be told to sort of keep quiet, you know. You'll find out as we go along. I find it very hard to keep my mouth shut.
Keep quiet for a second. I want to... Now, Phil Collins was on this show a few weeks ago, and he was telling us about the part he played in Miami Vice, and you've been in the A-Team, is that right?
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, one thing I pride myself on is my honesty, and I am a terrible actor. So don't watch it.
Is it true you stormed off the set?
Oh, no, I don't do things like that. I don't have tantrums, no. No, what it was really, I mean, if I had to compare my acting to anyone, I'd compare it to the Laughing Policeman, you know. I mean, you know, to me, acting is like, you know, you're sort of tragic and you're throwing and crying and, you know, I mean, being myself is an acting, and also the A-Team. Sorry, I mean, no offence, but it's not really acting, is it?
Was it the director who stormed off the set, then?
I don't know. It's not really gone with the wind, you know.
So did you actually complete the episode or not?
Oh, I did, yeah, and I got paid lots of money for it, too.
Something for us to look forward to. You talked about you being cheap for the kids to copy what you do, but, I mean, is it expensive to be a trendsetter? You spend a huge amount on clothes?
Depends, really. I mean, depends what you define as fashion, really, as well, you know. I mean, I'll wear anything, as you can see. And, I mean, and I don't really care what people think, you know. I think that's really what fashion's about. My kind of fashion is just doing what you want, you know. If you want to go out with a pot on your head, do it, you know.
When you go home, you don't put on a cardi and slippers.
Yeah, I do, but it's a peculiar-looking cardi.
And 3 slippers, I think. Anyway, you did make a lot of money very quickly, didn't you? I mean, how have you handled it? Do you think you are irresponsible?
I would say that being wealthy is easier to handle than being poor. Wouldn't you agree? Everyone would agree. I mean, I certainly don't feel sorry for myself. It's something that you know, you learn to deal with and smile a lot about. I think it's nice to go without, though, because then you really do appreciate when you get money, you really appreciate it.
And you went without before?
No, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you know, I had to walk across hot coals or anything like that. You know, I came from a pretty poorish family. We weren't rich, but it's nice to be able to sort of give my parents money now and, like, make them do things, go on holiday, you know. They're the nice things about being rich, you know.
Would you describe yourself as a romantic?
Yeah. I once saw this great T-shirt in New York which said, if you love somebody, let them go. If they don't come back, hunt them down and shoot them. So, you know, definitely definitely believe in love. I do almost anything for love, even kill.
Well, let's hope we don't fall in love. How important is physical attraction to you?
I think it's important to everybody. I mean, people do lie, you know. Everybody says, oh, I love her for her brains. But basically, I think, obviously, you know, when you initially meet somebody, it is the main factor. You look at them and you decide whether you like what you see. But, I mean, you know, like, for instance, if you're married to somebody for 40 years and they get fat, you don't just divorce them because they get fat. So I think, you know, I mean, people do underestimate what is sexually attractive, you know. I mean, often you see, like, a beautiful girl with an ugly guy, and people say, why is she with him, vice versa. I mean, you know, that person may have something that you'll never have.
Money.
No, it may not be money. It could be something else. Let's not get rude here. You know, but basically, you know, I mean, there isn't any such thing as being perfect, you know.
Present company accepted. Are you in love at the moment?
Yeah, with myself. No, yeah, I am. Yeah, definitely. But not with anyone in particular. With a lot of people.
People do conform eventually. I mean, even David Bowie has done that. Will you ever?
Poor thing. Waste of makeup. No, I really... That's like a neutralising question. It's like everybody says, are you going to get married? Because then they can all go and say, oh, he is really normal after all. Listen, he's just like the rest of us, you know, he does it for the money. You know, it's... I don't really want to be neutralised. You know, I am what I am. You know.
Do you want to have children?
I think it'd be a bit difficult, don't you? I mean, we do have a bit of time on our hands, a few years, but I don't think they'll have developed it by then. No, but I understand what you mean. I would like to have kiddies, yeah, I would love to. Mm. Oh, isn't that sweet?
Well, I remember Eamon Andrews once asked an Irish writer, Brendan Behan, he said, what would you like people to say about you in 50 years' time? And he said, I'd like them to say I just celebrated my 73rd birthday. Mm. And I wonder what you would like, what you think you might be doing in 40 years' time.
I hope I don't know what I'd like to be remembered for. Songs, mainly, you know. I mean, because I actually read something in the newspaper the other week which said, Boy George was nothing till he discovered mascara, which I felt very insulting because, you know, I write songs, and songs are wonderful. They take you back, they can bring back so many memories. And so that's what I'd like to be remembered for. Things like Do You Really Want to Hurt Me Time, good songs that give, you know, that give something to people and make people happy.
I can imagine, I mean, can I imagine what you would look like in 40 years' time? Are you going to be like that?
Hideous, probably. Well, I mean, everyone wants to grow up gracefully, but sometimes you just can't help it, you know.
Do you think this country is particularly supportive of people like you?
Oh, yeah. England's very, you know, we're definitely like a laboratory. We have all the best ideas, all the most exciting ideas. Unfortunately, what we do is we give them away to other countries. We don't capitalise on them, you know. But definitely we're a great country.
Well, we all agree with that. Here, we all say. I have more company to introduce in just a moment. George, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.